r/AskReddit. People of Reddit, what was the dumbest thing you got punished for in school? We got 25 questions for homework. I did 24 questions, but didn't understand question 25. The teacher gave me 20 lines signed by my parents for not doing my homework. Were the lines, if I don't understand, I should make something up instead of asking for help. What could possibly go wrong? In 7th grade I found a notebook in the hallway and turned it into my teacher. I was suspended for 3 days because there was a drawing of a centaur holding a pitchfork and they deemed that as gang related. This is in Atlanta, so no gangs matching that description here. You haven't heard of the Centaurian pitchforkers? They were long gone by this point. Wiped out in a savage gang war with the Minotaur scythes. No, that was the Cyclops clubbers. The Minotaur scythes wiped out the basilisk bull throwers. Elementary school. Was in the bathroom stall taking a dump during lunch. Someone runs in and starts kicking all the stall doors into where it becomes a pain for kids my age at the time, obviously, to open them. Kerblum. Door swings in toward me just a bit and gets stuck. I'm trying my best to get the damn door open to no avail. Don't remember how long I was in there alone just crying, but one of the lunch aides comes to lock the door to the bathroom for the day, hears me, gets me out of there, then proceeds to yell at me for being in the bathroom at that time. She goes so far as to take me to the office to have my mother called in, which they do instead of letting me explain myself. When she shows up and I explain myself to her, she gets irate and tears everyone in the school office a new one. No matter what I did from then on, I never had my mother called while I was there. One of the best things that happened to me in middle school specifically was that my mom was really active at the school and knew a lot of the administration. This meant that in any situation where I would get in trouble they'd have the knowledge that this is Mrs. This _ is _ God's son. I never acted out but it definitely helped with bullies. Flipped the monitor screen upside down. CTRL plus Alt plus arrow key. Got banned from using any school computer for the rest of the year. I remember a classmate doing this to another classmate everybody made fun of when he walked away to pick something up from the printer. He got back and was very confused. I felt bad for the kid because I was once that bullied kid for no reason. So I walked over and fixed it for him before he got back. The teacher saw this, thought I was messing with his work, and was about to send me our ice room until the people sitting next to him spoke out and said someone else was trying to fuck with him and I was fixing it. My middle school computer teacher was a cool guy. He gave someone in class shit. PFFFF, you think that's funny? I'm gonna show you something that's actually funny for doing that, then proceeded to show us the screen flip plus screenshot and hide icons gag. Played a lot of urban terror in that class lol. He's also showcased bad Amazon gadgets once a month and stood up for a kid that was under threat of being expelled for tampering with a computer hacker using a VPN to do whatever the fuck he felt like. I was in high school from 1998 to 2002. Somewhere in the middle of that time frame is when video streaming became a viable technology, causing students to tie up the bandwidth by watching too much video. As my school blocked more and more sites, we started losing ability to do proper research. I created a sort of browser version of a VPN. Essentially it allowed websites to be accessed through my own website, disguising the banned sites as my own. No one ever caught on. One time my best friend at the time and I, both female, exchanged a hug at recess because we were in different classes. One of my teachers sent us to the wall where we had to stand for 30 minutes alone because she claimed by hugging we were trying to turn on our male friends. We were in grade 6. Teacher probably had some suppressed feelings. Illegal feelings. Parent got called in because I farted in class. Must have been a doozy. Some real chemical warfare. Minor. I have a gluten intolerance, which means if I eat some gluten and fart anyone within 10 feet will run out of there within seconds. Farted once during class, but didn't admit to it. Whole class rushed to open the windows, and then my half of the room shifted and went to the right half of the room to escape the smell. Also, one kid truly didn't believe I was intolerant to gluten and that my farts were that bad, so right before gym I ate 2 slices of pizza and 6 cookies. We then enter the boys' locker room and are locked in there for 8 minutes. I'll leave the rest up to your imagination. BTW, if you're wondering what the smell is, it would be like taking rotten deviled eggs from a sulfur farm, increasing the concentration, and then putting it in an aerosol spray. Edit. Changed allergic to intolerant for those who find it offensive. That I changed a single word to make it easier to understand. For those of you who don't know much about gluten intolerances and celiac, basically the latter is worse, but the first is still bad. I have the first, but I wrote allergy to simplify it, which angered some. Read. People with celiac, which BTW isn't an allergy either, so I'm changing it to intolerance. Some guy pushed his friend down the stairs in elementary, and said guy landed on me. Got detention for missing an important lesson while I was out cold in the infirmary. I got a lollipop as an apology for the detention. After it was explained though. A big lollipop. How big are we talking? It was the size of my elementary aged face. Our principal's husband was a candy maker. An elementary school principal and a candy maker. Are we sure this couple isn't just kidnapping dozens of children? In 6th grade, the teacher ripped up my assignment in front of the class and gave me detention because I didn't wait until I was home to do my homework. That's messed up. All through my school years I tried to finish my homework in class. Do they want to waste your time? 8th grade. Our school had a weird layout where you had to walk through classrooms to get to another classroom. As I was passing through one, I was telling my friend how this new video game is freaking awesome. Teacher pulls me aside and asks what I said. I told her I said it was freaking awesome, and she scolded me for using a substitute for a bad word. What? This bitch ain't even my teacher and she's telling me I can't use a substitute. I asked her, what about don or heck? Aren't though they technically substitutes? She got all red in the face and huffy and said, "Geo to the principals right now for talking back." I told her I would be late for class, which is right through that door. She didn't appreciate the added defiance and grabbed my bicep and dragged me into the classroom. She told my teacher what I said and yelled, "Discipline him however you feel is necessary." My teacher nodded and she huffed out of the room. My teacher bent down and whispered that she gets grouchy in the mornings. Just be careful what I say when I pass her, and that was that. Eventually, like a decade after I was done with school, I realized how many teachers I had who got away with all sorts of behavior that would have ended their jobs if they'd done them to an adult. Imagine if she dragged a coworker by the arm across the room. But because they are done to minors, everyone just smiles and nods. My 4th grade teacher got so mad that a friend of mine didn't get what we were trying to accomplish while writing an essay after telling him nicely multiple times how to do it, which was actually only like twice, in a very stern voice. She yelled at him and ripped his essay up in front of everyone, which made him cry. There were lots of instances like this throughout the year. The next year in 5th grade we didn't see her anymore. I'm just sad it took that long. Grade 7. One kid made fun of another kid, the wrong kid, and wrong kid pulled him out of his chair and pinned him to the ground and started yelling at him. Then he started bashing his head against the tile floor. There was lots of blood like immediately. I wasn't thinking, I just ran over from my chair and tackled the kid who was doing the smashing off the guy on the floor. As soon as the fight had started, the teacher ran from the room and got the principal, and they both ran back and in the door just in time to see my tackle. Next thing I know, the principal was pulling me off of the other kid and literally carrying me to his office. I was pretty upset. I never did well with violence, so I just cried in his office. I was confused from the whole thing, but once I calmed down he asked me what happened, and pretty much the second I opened my mouth he called me a liar and said he saw everything and knew what I did and couldn't believe I of all people would do that. I couldn't get a word in to tell my story. The kid who had his head slammed was taken to the hospital. I was told that, and really only that, and how serious what I did was. They called my parents and said I did it and they needed to come at once and get me. I was suspended and likely would be expelled. I couldn't believe it. When my mom got there, she just told me not to say anything. She was crying and said she never thought I'd do such a thing. When I got in the car, I swore up and down I didn't do anything. I think she believed me, but she cried the whole car ride home. I sat and stewed. I don't know how long it took them to actually talk to the kids in the class after that. Certainly it didn't happen in the hour, or whatever it was between, when the incident happened, and I got sent home, but it should have been the first thing. There was a call to my mom apologizing to her and saying I actually did the right thing. And then at the end of the school year, like a month later, they gave me some community award at the end of year assembly for what I did. But I never forget the initial reaction. When they had me scared I'd be kicked out of school for doing what I thought was the right thing. Just reminded me of primary school. I have a name that wasn't that common back in the 90s, but there was another girl in my school with the same name. She was really rough and came from a bad family. One day my parents had to come in to school to see the head teacher because I had spat on a dinner lady and attacked her. I never did this. I used to just sit quietly and eat my packed lunch. My parents obviously were all, why would she lie? She wouldn't, but at the same time it was properly out of character, and I was so adamant and crying that I didn't do it. My parents didn't know what to think because the head teacher said it was definitely me. The dinner lady knew my name, but even my year teacher was confused and saying she would never imagine me doing this. You would assume someone would just get the dinner lady to check it was me, or would ask the students if they saw it happen, but apparently not. It took around a week before the school rang my parents at home, and I could hear my dad screaming blue murder at the head teacher for blaming the wrong girl. He went down the school and went full insane at him, so I was even more embarrassed. So much stress and upset when it could have been cleared up in 10 minutes if anyone had bothered listening to sense. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. I would be so grateful if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel. New videos every day.